All right, good morning. Good morning. This is a different start to our vlog because today we're actually getting ready to present to the entire company about the vlog. So this is getting a little meta. No, in all seriousness, we're really excited today to be sharing a little bit about the vlog with all of you. We know this is a little different than a normal 7x7 because rather than doing a slide deck, we figured we would actually show you some of the work that we've been doing and also talk a little bit about the learnings that we've had already in starting the vlog. So to kick it off, I want to actually go ahead and introduce Ken. And for this one, and in the last week, we had we've been sharing on social. On the Facebook page where we've been sharing, we've had over 100,000 impressions, and one video actually did, 28,000 views on a single video. Putting that into perspective, on an Instagram story, we're looking at about 1,000 views, and it goes away in 24 hours. So the type of content too that we're creating is a little bit different. The discoveries that we've been making have been really exciting. And I think there's a way that we can be champions for our community and actually use something like the vlog or video content to start to do that in a really profound and incredibly impactful way. So we're really excited about that, and in Q3 continuing to create more video content for Honeybook and for just the members that we serve.
Brand a couple of weeks ago. This has been a labor of love, many months of work, and we're finally getting to the point where we're creating the brand identity, we're creating the library of assets, and we're creating basically the toolkit that allows everyone in the company to design with the same language, so that regardless of whether you're making employer branding content or weekly emails or onboarding documents or product hack. So today Anat's going to present the beginning stages of it since she's here live with us. This is an evolving document, so it's not perfect, it's not done, it's not final, but we wanted to take this first step to share with you.
We are such a cool company, and we have such a great personality, very unique personality, and we have great value that we can give to our members, but no one knows that. And we want people from the moment they go in our website, or even when they visit our Facebook page or Instagram account, we want them to understand who we are. Just like when they come to our offices and they immediately get the vibe, we want them to get the vibe all the time. In the product, it's going to be very subtle. It's like another font, different colors, new style of icons. But the idea is to present our personality in all platforms and to be cohesive with the story that we tell our members.
Does it have Hebrew character support?
It's a mobile web font.
Oh, wonderful.
It's very easy. We can use it in our.
I was unsure.
So reach out to Anat because those 4 colors are really only meant for inside the product and for graphics.
Yeah. This is our way to talk about what creativity is, or like the creative soul and spirit of our members.
We are heading into our Q2 retro, and I just walked around the entire office trying to figure out where this room is. I've never heard of this room before. This is not a real room. This is
I had to do a lap and a half around the office to find everybody.
I pretended I knew and I just followed her.
I had to ask.
I mean,
I didn't know. I only knew because I saw you come out of the back half.
We need navigation. I think it's time. I think we're growing.
Have we ever been in this room? Like I've never.
I'm gonna put a tile in.
I've never been in here.
Okay, so in looking back, let's go, Jules, when you get a chance.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, don't apologize. We came in very close. We came in with 12,508 new contacts acquired. These, as you guys know, these contacts were acquired through a variety of ways. So the biggest learning from this is, and I would love any feedback, suggestions, ideas that you guys have, but in looking back, I think the biggest learning is that we just simply weren't acquiring those email addresses for a very long time, and recognizing that, in one quarter we could generate almost 15,000 or about, 12.5K new email contacts just through doing the exact same things we were already doing every quarter. It shows how many opportunities we've missed.
how can you use our KRs, and not even only our KRs, but with Gabby, like pulling in other teams' KRs, because they need to know why it's important to them, starting the meeting with that and saying like, hey guys, if these are your KRs, here's why this is the solution, here's why we have to do this.
Yeah,
we can't not.
No, I completely agree with that.
But I wonder if we could have foreseen that by taking the time to go, okay, I've just discovered the summit. Here's my experience. Here's how I'm hearing about it on the social. Here's where I'm going. Here's how I'm getting there. To try to understand better how we can communicate. What do you think about? What else did we do today? What else did we do today on the vlog? So we recorded a retro. Let's talk about failure. Let's talk about failure.
When was the last time you failed? Big time.
Tuesday.
What happened?
So so taking a step back, this morning we did our retro meeting, which essentially is a meeting we do every quarter. At the end of the quarter, we get together, we look at the past couple of months, the work that we've done, and we analyze what we could have done better. And so what we did was today we did just that. Now, the reason I bring up Tuesday being a day where I failed, Tuesday was Tuesdays Together. And so it was the first time, in the last couple of months, we've changed a lot of the team, and we've been growing the team. So, we never used to have a social media manager. We now have one. We never used to have a community manager. Now we have one. We didn't have Kent. Now we have Kent. So a lot has changed in the past couple of months. And I think I realized on Tuesday just how much I had been sprinting and not able to just be present for the team, just be there for the team, to talk to them, to give them insight on, what we have to do to get Tuesdays Together to go off without a hitch. And little things fell through the cracks, little things, there were gaps that we didn't see. And part of that is just because, we're sprinting as fast as we are, but I am the type of person that I don't really like to place blame on other people. When things don't go right or when something could have gone better, I'm always looking at why and trying to analyze how I could have improved in that situation. So in this instance, it was something where I recognized on Tuesday, I didn't have the time set aside to help my team build a foundation where they fully understand, every little nuance that went into executing something like Tuesdays Together. Mm-hmm. So I had a meeting with someone on my team who actually was saying to me that she felt in a particular circumstance like she had failed me.
Whoa.
This was this week as well, actually, right after Tuesdays Together. And it was really emotional. And the reason I bring it up is because it also brought us into a conversation about what is failure and how we maybe need to reframe our thought process around this, right? We think about failure and we immediately feel this gut sinking feeling, when in reality, we do need to learn to love failure. We need to learn to embrace it. We need to understand that it's a learning, right? It's not the end of something. It's an opportunity for growth, and that all of us fail. There's not a human being on this planet that I've ever met who hasn't failed at one point or another. A lot of us fail every single day at one thing or another. So I think that hearing that and having that meeting with her, it was really impactful for me because it also showed me that we always need to be encouraging one another and reminding one another of the good things we're doing and celebrating the small wins, which is so easy to lose sight of in the day-to-day hustle, isn't it? Encouraging that other photographer who's doing a great job, or encouraging your assistant and whatever it is, telling Kent that he's crushing it,
You don't need to say that though.
But in all seriousness, I think that's a big one. So failing can be really scary, but it shouldn't hold you back from continuing to try, right?
How do you, once you realize you've failed?
Yes. How do you get over it, or how do you move forward? What's the process?
How do you move forward? Because obviously there's learning to be done from it, but say someone has trouble swallowing their pride and being yeah, I failed.
Yeah.
Or someone is afraid of what their coworkers are gonna think when they failed. Or
which is more, I think
I feel that pressure. I'm 3 days into my job and I'm don't mess anything up because you are on thin ice, buddy.
And that's just not true. So that's the thing. I think what's really interesting is when you ask people why they're afraid of failure, most of them will say not because of the failure itself, they can deal with not having succeeded. What they're more afraid of is what other people will think. And that is a whole nother set of, questions and thought, why do we need people's approval to feel satisfied? Why do we feel the need to compare ourselves? Why do we feel like somebody else is going to give us permission to do what we need to do, or will be the, end verdict on whether we were successful or not? Those are larger questions, but in terms of after I failed, how do I move forward from that? Well, I think ultimately it's looking at you know, what I could have done better, kind of doing literally doing an analysis like we do. I mean, I don't go through a retro every time I burn a quesadilla, but when I'm saying business related stuff, real stuff, you know, I will list out all of the things I could have done better, things I didn't do well. Also celebrating the other things I did do well and acknowledging hey, last time we did a Tuesdays together, these 3 things fell through the cracks. This time they didn't, and that's a win. But we didn't finish these 4 things, or this project got forgotten, or this person didn't realize they had ownership over something. And so it's analyzing what went wrong, identifying ways you can improve, but also I think setting up the processes so it doesn't happen again. It's not enough to be oh wow, I didn't get this wedding out on time to my client. That, yes, cool, you acknowledge the failure, but my question would be great, so what are you going to do next time so that doesn't happen? How are you building processes? How are you automating your workflow? How are you, you can dive deep into something and actually build the processes to not have it happen again. Mm-hmm. But the idea of failure, you just can't be afraid of it. You can't, and you can't feel just because you make one mistake that somehow, you know, you're no longer as valuable in the eyes of other people. I think that we need to remember to give each other grace, and I think we need to remember that we're all human beings, and even though social media makes it look like everybody's perfect, the reality is that we're all human and we're all kind of stumbling through things the best we can. Some less graceful than others, but you know, we all stumble the same. So, oh, and you know what the title of this should be?
What?
Failure is not a dirty word.